Ohayo gozaimasu, and welcome to Suzuka in Japan for round 6 of this championship here in the RaceOnOz Gran Turismo Season 51 Division 1 Championship. We've had a couple of weeks off, might have been even longer than that, but we are back here racing this week in a race where Noodles, the man on your screen, can secure the title tonight if he finishes a 9th or higher, as I welcome along once again my partner in crime, the Nigerian Prince. We've had a 12-day layoff coming off the back of the end of a very big charity month, but he's alongside me in the commentary box tonight. Nigerian Prince, Ohayo gozaimasu to you, and welcome to Japan.
Ohayo gozaimasu. I'm trying to think of something Japanese to say. Konnichiwa, genki desu ka?
Hi, genki desu. Yes.
I don't really know what comes from that, but no, it's glad to be back, Suzuka. Looking forward to this one tonight, Trev.
It is going to be absolutely fantastic. Like you said, we had a couple of weeks off, but we're not interested in that anymore because we are here at the Suzuka circuit in Japan, and 18 corners around this circuit. 3.6 miles long, 5.8 kilometres, and some of these corners, Nigerian Prince, we can see one of them there now, the famous hairpin. We've got the spoon curve, the Dunlop curb, the Degner curbs, of course, and don't forget about the famous 130R, just to name a few around here tonight.
Oh, 130R is always a thrill ride, and these cars, you know, Trev, we've had a little bit of a break from Ruse due to certain circumstances over the last few weeks, but glad to be back. 130R, killer corner. I love the S's too, Trev. How about them? They
are absolutely fantastic. Famous story, I think it was Sebastian Vettel who, I think they were racing at Suzuka one year, and he went up to Michael Schumacher and said, do you have any tips for going through the S curbs at the start of the lap here at Suzuka? And the great Michael Schumacher just said, yeah, drive as quickly as possible. He said, just go flat out, I think was the message, or something like that. But we are seeing times, Prince, a 1:58.789 for Noodles. This man who can clinch the championship. That's right, he can clinch it here if he finishes 9th or better. He is setting the early pace here tonight.
Yeah, clinching the championship's definitely going to be a big deal. I don't know how many rounds we've got left. You might be able to clarify that for us soon, Trev, but the 58 is quite rapid, you might say, around Suzuka.
We've got penultimate round of the championship tonight, Chuck Norris. And you can see there we've got Suzuka, 22 laps around this track. Custom weather, of course, potentially a chance of rain we're hearing, but it is Japan, and when it rains, it pours here. Oh, that was meant to be a Japanese. Anyway, never mind about that, but next week we are at Mount Panorama. Go! And Voodoo has subscribed 9 months. What are we naming the baby? How about Kid Norris or Chuck Byers? And
yeah, I like that.
And well, if it's anything like Chuck Norris, when our baby turns 18, they'll be kicking us out of the house. Why, our baby? Because it's Chuck Norris, but or related to Chuck Norris, I should say. But no, penultimate round of the championship next week. 46 laps around Mount Panorama. That is going to be very, very interesting indeed. That's going to be a long one. But speedy tyres. 9.5 seconds off of pole position. Jimmy Payload there, Distinct Andrew. And there he is on your screen. Distinct Andrew, always very quick, but only down in 6th here at the moment, Prince.
Yeah, he's kind of out of position, isn't he, Trev? So I believe these guys have had a couple of weeks off, I think, due to various different things like Father's Day and stuff like that. So these guys coming off of a little bit of a break, so hopefully the pace hasn't worn off during that time. I'm looking forward to seeing where Distinct Andrew is going to throw himself. Hopefully up the front somewhere.
Let's have a look here. We'll keep an eye on that. Oh, look at that. 0.2 of a second off of Ranger Oz now, who has jumped up into P1. And that is a kitten's whisker there ahead of Noodles, 0.052. And random weather, like I said, there will be a chance of rain here at this Suzuka prefecture as Distinct Andrew gets a bit of a wheel onto the grass there. No harm done, but it looks like it's getting cloudier already, Prince, here in the... Oh, somebody off in the background there as well. As I interrupt myself there, Banana Josh, getting sideways through the first of the two Degner curbs. Noodles, like we said, he can get the title tonight if he finishes 9th or higher. Last season, the corresponding race last season in season 50 of this series was won by Sidorg in a weather-affected epic, we're hearing. Expecting high 57s in quali. Amazing hour, and Noodles are your guys to watch, and it'll be a one-stop race tonight, Prince, so trying to find that perfect strategy is going to be oh so important as we look at Banana Man coming around the spoon.
Yeah, exactly. So I love the formats that these guys run, and the stops is always one that keeps you on your toes. I can't remember where they were racing last time, Trev. I think it might have been Spa actually. We were watching the difference in the times of the stops for, some were taking way less fuel than others, but still made it checkered. So I'm looking forward to seeing how these strategies are going to come into play.
So much to play for here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And you can see those times starting to tumble here. Expecting 57s, only in the 58.5s at the moment. As we see Captain Risky, the insurance specialist, flying through the 130R there. They are leaving nothing on the table around that corner here tonight, Prince, up towards 260 kilometers per hour through the chicane towards the end of the lap. Famous, of course, for that incident between Senna and Prost all those years ago. And OMG, it's a kid by a stream whilst Jason Wilkinson is abroad waiting to catch the train to Athens. I was about to say Athena. And Athens over there. Not quite the same without him, is it, Chuck Norris?
No, it's not the same. I don't know about you, Trev, but I don't really feel too comfortable with our main man Wilco being abroad. I want him home.
Yes, please just be careful there. If you're catching that train, you don't want to end up in Istanbul or somewhere and be sold into the trafficking ring or something like that.
Wilco McCann.
McCann. And we don't want to be putting up those missing posters, but we are digressing for a moment. Captain Risky getting very risky, but that's what he does, this man, Nigerian Prince. He likes to take risks, and that's why he's the insurance specialist.
Yeah, so he doesn't have much time until he's kind of on the back of speedy tyres here, provisionally for qualifying. So it looks like he's been pedaling through Sector 1 quite nicely. And, sometimes it can all come unraveling, from 130R and even that last chicane, Trev. I've seen so many laps ruined just because of that last chicane.
And we are approaching the end of qualifying here. And you'll notice as well, I know Jason's out there watching while he's waiting to catch his train to Athens. And before you get to the Colosseum, which might actually be in Rome, I can tell you that there's less lag tonight because I am hosting the session, yours truly, and we're not seeing as much sliding. It's cutting out, so can't hear you guys well. Good luck. 26 degrees with a high chance of some beer in 45 minutes. Well, guess what, Wilco? It's 27 degrees here next Saturday, so get stuffed as we look at Captain Risky taking the shortest possible route to the line, and he gets a 159.0. But still, Distinct Andrew, look at how close it is at the top. Prince, 0.09, and not quite 007. But it's very close at the top. Only a bee's whisker in that, and that is nothing in this industry, is it?
Yeah, absolutely nothing in it. It's one of those spectacles. Sometimes if you're lucky, you see drivers getting the exact same time, but sometimes it gets a little bit closer than that, as you can see the gap between Ranger Oz and Distinct Andrew. So it looks like these drivers are starting to get towards the end of qualifying here. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to shape up in T1.
And there we have it, the end of the qualifying session. We'll take a look at the results and try not to let the power go to my head as Wilco there.
I got fastest lap too.
Oh,
Look at you go.
and I'm not sure what the exchange rate's like over there, Wilco, on the kid coins, but we'll give him double the kid coins at over there in Greece. But let's have a look at this. So look how close it is there on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. We are supporting Lifeline. You can still donate. Is that still happening? But that's okay there. Salty Wilco over there in Athens, but 158.492. Not quite into the 157s tonight, but still that's decent pace and far quicker than what I could achieve here at Suzuka Prefecture. And Distinct Andrew getting the job done by 0.0009. And that's, you wouldn't mind seeing that if you blew on the breathalyzer test at the RBT site. But Ranger Oz in second, Noodles, our championship elect, in third. Just a B's reproductive behind him. And then it's Speedy Tyres, Bananas Foster there, which is a famous dish in New Orleans, apparently, sort of a toffee banana custard type thing. But that's way off, isn't it? Captain Risky in sixth, Diswood in seventh, Viper in eighth, and then it's Get Your Groove On. And only 10 runners down to Jimmy's big payload down there, and he'll be looking to distribute that evenly throughout the field heading down into turn one. But Prince, not a great turnout tonight, just the 10 drivers, but still that doesn't mean we can't have fun with me running the server and 10 guys on tonight.
Yeah, exactly. So a little bit low in terms of the turnout, as you were mentioning, Trev, but you know, this is going to be good for, I believe, Noodles, who needs to get a top 9. So as long as he doesn't come lucky last, he looks like he's going to secure this championship. So it's going to be a bit tense out there, I think.
It's going to be tight. It's going to be tense. It is going to be on for young and old, like a Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong Country 2 was the best of those games. If you want to know my opinion, there was Diddy and Dixie Kong and Diddy Kong's Quest. But let's go, says Groover. Quack in there as well. Just a quick 3-minute break, ladies and gentlemen. And then we are going to get to the race. 22 laps around this Suzuka Prefecture and 45 minutes, whatever comes first. It could be the 22 laps as we see that photographer there in very long grass. That could be a bit of a hazard for snakes if they indeed have them in Japan. But that is very risky there. Not quite Captain Risky, though, who's starting in 6th position on your starting grid tonight. Good luck, commentators, says Bananas Foster, Banana Johnson, Banana Josh, I should say. And we are just about ready to go. We're waiting to get word through from the Viper himself, and we will get ready to go. He's down in 8th position as well. And we are given a massive amount of info from Viper. In fact, it's multiple pages, which I didn't share with you tonight, Prince, and I know you'll be pretty salty about that. But these guys, they put a lot of work into their liveries, don't they? We've learnt. And some have black and white liveries, some have liveries of other colours. But I sound like I'm delivering a eulogy, so I'm going to shut up, Prince, and we're almost ready to go racing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting this one underway. Suzuka's always been a great track, and you know, like the one thing I was thinking of as you were saying to watch out for the snakes for the photographer. I was trying to think of what snakes would say in Japanese.
Bullseye! that's attack in Japanese, but we're almost ready to go here, ladies and gentlemen. Gee whiz, just check your microphone there, Prince, but we're almost ready to go. We hope you're ready to go. False starts will be penalized in the land of the Japan. And 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Go here at Suzuka for the penultimate round of this championship for Race on Oz Season 51 Division 1 here on Gran Turismo 7. And Noodles is getting very busy at the start. Distinct Andrew down to second, and the man who only has a black and white livery is leading this race. Collingwood colours. That's right, we're through to the prelim final, baby, in 2 weeks, and good luck trying to stop us with that. But Ranger Oz leads as they come through the S curves for the first time. Then it's Noodles. He only needs to finish ninth or above, may I remind you out there, everybody watching. And then it's Speedy Tyres. Captain Risky is making some moves. Prince, he's up to fourth on the opening lap from sixth.
Yeah, I just want to touch on as well. I did see Distinct Andrew unfortunately got out on, the outside line in T1 is always the worst. You kind of get robbed from the drivers and manage to sneak down your inside, but he did also manage to go a little bit wide and looked like he got a bit off track there. So he dropped quite a way down from the front row of the grid all the way to, I believe, P9 or P10. So he's got a lot of work to do now.
He's well known, this man, Diswood, as we see him fighting with the insurance specialist. Captain Risky there, P4 and P5 going hammer and tongs as we go around the spoon curve for the first time. Diswood there in fifth, made his debut in round 2, and he's just entered the hearts of each and every one of us. He's a seasoned driver in another major GT league, which is not named on this cheat sheet, but what a bloke he is. And is he going to make a move here on Captain Risky through the 130R? We've seen it done in the past, of course. Fernando Alonso on Michael Schumacher in 2005, but he can't quite get it done on this occasion. And is that somebody off the track? I think we've got somebody off the track, Prince. It looks like it's Captain Risky, is it, or somebody? Jesus, talk to me here, Prince.
Yeah, Captain Risky looks like he made a slight mistake, and it's like we were talking during qualifying, Trev, 130R and that last chicane are probably the worst spots to come unstuck, so to speak. So yeah, he's got a long way to go now as well.
Back to the pointy end of proceedings. It is Ranger Oz leading Noodles. What is the approach from this man, our champion-elect Noodles, tonight? You've been in situations, Prince, where you've had the championship almost wrapped up. What is the mindset of this man here tonight, coming into the race tonight? Is it just to finish ninth? He's a racer, though. They're all racers. He'll be wanting. Will he be wanting to win, or will he be wanting to just secure the points he needs to take the title?
I definitely think he's going to be one of those drivers like myself that, whether you've got the championship secured, if you finish in the top 10 or not, you're still going to throw your hands into that cookie jar whether grandma's going to get angry at you or not. So I think he's going to be going for the cookies. I think he wants the win here tonight to secure the championship.
Still not happy with the OH&S conditions here for the media and photographers around this circuit. But Prince, I would love to draw your attention to something on this beautiful livery of Noodles. If you look at the back sort of triangular part of the window there, on the back of that car, just above the F for Falcon, you will see an interesting logo. If you can zoom in or just up the quality as max out as you can. Is that the logo? I think it is. And if it is, he's not doing himself, well, he is doing himself a lot of favours here with us.
Yeah, I'm trying to see it. I want the cameraman to zoom in on it. I can't quite see it, but your eyes appear to be way, way better than mine.
It looks blue, and it looks like it's a K shape. We'll stick with this. I reckon that's some pretty good coverage. Would have expected to get a slightly bigger logo on that livery, but maybe we'll... oh, hello. We've got Speedy Tyres there. It's a Kid Buyers logo, I think. I'm pretty sure if we zoom in on that, maybe we can save the replay or something. But that's very nicely incorporated there. But speaking of more pressing issues on the track, Speedy Tyres is catching him at a vast rate of knots, and he is looking to potentially make a move, and he is putting him under all sorts of pressure as I let you look for that Kid Buyers logo.
Yeah, that's literally all I'm looking for now, Trev. But honestly, I think Noodles might just be a little bit out of draft range here. So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Gran Turismo draft might not be as, say, good as what it might be on ACC or iRacing. So he might just be a little bit out of that range where Speedy Tyres is in. So that means Speedy Tyres might have a bit more of an advantage. So Noodles, though, he's under all sorts of pressure. So
I'm not.
We're getting a closer look here.
I'm not letting this one go, Prince. If the sun just works in my favour, if you can.
Oh, I do see that, Trev, on the on that window there, the Kid Buyers logo. Look at that.
We've got a corner panel there. How good is that?
Let's go.
Look at that. Oh, we're zooming in now. Oh, I'm not sure what's happening there, and I know that people aren't going to be happy about this, but we've got the coverage. You know you've made it when you've made a GT7 livery, Prince.
Yeah, exactly. It's paying homage to the great man himself.
As we get back, sorry, I just love that sort of stuff. I'm about 8 years old, I've got to say, but Ranger Oz not quite pulling away, but he's pulling on something because that is 0.6 of a second now, but it seems that Noodles is cutting that gap on the main straight here.
Yeah, so Noodles does have the fastest lap that we can see, so just into the 58, which is incredible pace to be kicking off this one. So we're only lapped 4 out of 22, Trev. I believe there is a mandatory pit stop. We've seen that in the past, whether it be for fuel or tires, I think. You know, you might be able to correct me on that one, but I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to develop, whether Ranger Oz is going to keep building this gap with this pace, or whether Noodles is just going to unleash the 2 minutes and all of a sudden is right into it. So I'm looking forward.
Noodles with the fastest lap, a 1:58.947 here tonight so far in the opening 4 laps of this race. A 45-minute race, roughly 22 laps here tonight. Race will be a 1-stop Nigerian Prince. And I love that livery even more now there with Noodles running that on the champion potentially, unless he has a serious disconnection of sorts or some sort of brain aneurysm or heart attack. He will be leading this championship still. In fact, will be the champion if he finishes 9th or above with that beautiful Kid Buyers logo on there. But he is getting very close here to Ranger Oz here at the moment.
He is. This gap is clawing down. So we did see Ranger Oz's laps before. He is nice and consistent, but unfortunately, he's just a little bit slower than Noodles. So he's got a little bit of work to do to maintain that gap and hold it off. But Noodles, he's a man on a mission. 0.2 off his PB at the moment.
And 2-minute Noodles there doing very nicely indeed. Speedy Tyres has dropped a little bit further back there. 1.3 is the gap now. And you can see these drivers, they seem to go, they take a tighter line, don't they, through that final part of the lap as they come on to the start-finish straight. Prince, is that just trying to take the shortest possible route to the line there as they come onto the main straight? Because we've seen the drivers also do it in qualifying. And Diswood now up to 4th position. Distinct Andrew not really setting lighting my fires here tonight, Prince. He's not setting anything on fire.
Have you seen that fastest lap though, Trev?
Oh, 58.640 for Distinct Andrew. And I think he might be 0.2 up on this lap, Prince, as he climbs the hill. And he is not out of this race by any means here at the moment.
Yeah, definitely not. So unfortunately, like we saw at the start of the race, he had the outside line in T1, which, you know, everybody knows, never the best place to be positioned on your opening lap going into that corner. And unfortunately made a mistake and went a little bit wide, fell all the way to the back of the grid. And, you know, 5 laps in, he's putting in PBs. He's got a few tenths off his best lap right now again. So I don't want to hold him to it, but Trev, we might see him walk away with the podium here.
Let's wait and see. That gap to Diswood, it was 2 seconds, it was 2.2. It went from 2.2 to 2.1 and then to 2, and now it's 1.9, and it is closing faster than a door on a windy day in the middle of a storm, because you can see there 1.9, he's 0.6 up on this lap. Where was he in the opening couple of laps? Was he stuck in traffic or something, Prince? I'm not too sure, but he is going to be right up behind this battle between Speedy and Diswood very, very shortly here.
Yeah, 100%. So it's one of those things, we saw him just hold P1 at the end of qualifying. I believe it was 0.009. He managed to walk away with pole position. The early mistake put him to the back of the grid, but is proving that he's a man to be reckoned with. His pace, he's been fighting his way back through the grid. He's back up to P5. He's putting in incredible laps with 57s now, Trev. That's crazy.
Absolutely crazy numbers. And look at Viper here in P6. They're kind of in no man's land. I shouldn't say that, but he's 3.1. I don't think he's going to exactly see that gap. I think he's going to be seeing Distinct Andrew going off into the distance, I think, here, Prince Viper, in all fairness. But this man loves a good livery as well, designs a lot of those liveries, so he could be the one responsible for that. Oh, and a moment for Viper. And in the land of the long Japanese snake, that is Viper, of course, his name as well. That is not going to do him any good. And Groover now is going to be right behind him saying, "Konnichiwa!" And let's go and have a battle here, because that is going to do him no good. It looked like he just got out of shape there in the Degner curves, Prince, and that is not a place you want to go off, because it's very high speed and hard to get back on the track.
Yeah, and you add on that, you scrub a little bit wide and you're in the grass and the sand, and sometimes, unfortunately, it's really hard to get back in control of the car, and before you know it, that barrier creeps up really quick. So Viper, though, the pace is incredible. So he's holding on to P6 only just. He's got Groover, Captain Risky, all trying to take away that position from him. So not only do we have battles up the front, but we've also got these battles in the mid pack. And I don't know about you, Trev, but I love to see the battles all the way through.
I love to see it. You can see the graphics there too on the bottom of your screen, ladies and gentlemen, which I'll draw your attention to. You can see the tyre wear there. Don't think fuel is going to be too much of an issue here tonight. We're on lap 7 out of 22 as Captain Risky there in 8th in the Subaru livery. Banana Josh, love the look of that car. And we've got a yellow flag. I think somebody is off in the first corner. Jimmy Payload, Distinct, that's back at the front there. We'll get back to that in a moment. Was it Jimmy Payload having a moment? Now he's well down the field there in 9th. In fact, it might be Viper, who's now down in 10th. What on earth has happened there, Prince?
Yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one. I kind of wish we could go back and have a look at a little bit of a replay, but Suzuka's one of them mentally tough and physically tough tracks to try and conquer, I find it's very hard to keep smooth and steady, and I don't know about you, Trev, I spend more time off the track at Suzuka than I do on the black stuff, so these guys are doing way better than me, I think.
I spend a lot of time on the grass as well, and then I might even have a race around Suzuka also. But no, Ranger Oz there, 0.6 of a second, 0.6 of a second, and you can see around this beautiful circuit here the host for many championship finales in Formula One over the years. Of course, Senna back in the day. And I think it was more Adelaide, wasn't it, as well there for the end of the championship. But this is very close. Are these two, are they just biding their time, do you think, Prince, here? They look like they've got the pace over Speedy in 3rd. They've got Distinct Andrew coming up very quickly. Are they just managing the pace out front? Are they, you can see him there on your screen now in P4. And I know he's got speedy tyres between himself and Noodles and Ranger Oz, but are these guys at the front managing the pace here at the moment, trying to just minimise that tyre wear, look after the tyres and conserve a bit of fuel up the front, or are they going full beans here at the moment?
Yeah, it's tough. I've been monitoring the HUD very closely, and the front tires are definitely scrubbing almost twice as much as the rears. So, as these guys are trying to put in personal bests and faster laps, unfortunately, they're losing the grip that they need. So Distinct Andrew, though, is, those green headlights in the background, Trev, you can't help but watch them just slowly closing in. So Noodles can't quite get onto Ranger Oz as much as what he wants. So maybe Distinct Andrew in maybe 5 laps time or so, just as a random ballpark, might come into the equation to put a bit of a spanner in the works here.
Well, these top 5 now, they're pretty much out on their own. You can see on the track map, it is lap 8 of this race. If you're just joining us, hello to you. Good afternoon or good evening or good morning if you're taking the train to Athens. But lap 8, like I said, and what did the 0 say to the 8, Prince? Nice belt.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
So there we go. So
That's like the best dad joke I think I've ever heard.
Oh yes, I was waiting to lap 8 just to bring that out. But RaceOnOz through the chicane there. I think it might be called the Senna S, or it might not be. It might just be the hairpin. But fastest lap there. Distinct Andrew now. Is he just speaking of conserving his tyres and wheels? 1.4 the gap to speedy tyres. We'll keep an eye on this because this is our dark horse here tonight as we approach half race distance.
Yeah, he definitely is. He throughout this season, he's kind of proven himself to be that dark horse throughout. You know, he's always got the pace, but unfortunately, sometimes the results just haven't come to him. So, you know, it just seems to be one of those ones throughout the course of this season that the consistency of some of these drivers just gets you the results. You know, pushing too hard unfortunately costs you them. So Distinct Andrew though proving that he's got the pace, but are we going to be seeing him on the back of speedy tires in maybe 2 laps time?
We'll wait and see. This is the 51st season, of course, in RaceOnOz Gran Turismo history, and 51st historic as well. The racing number of Bruce Hale, and always like to give that man a special mention, of course, very dear to the RaceOnOz family, Nigerian Prince. Sadly passed away in 2014 after winning back-to-back championships on GT6. Ruse's favourite, a laid-back son. Kiwi was known for his easygoing nature and quiet determination. And of course, in his honour, they like to run the same car and track combos where possible to replicate his title-winning seasons. And it's a wonderful community. We talk about it all the time, Prince, but we always like to mention Bruce, of course, who was a very loved and well-known member of RaceOnOz.
Yeah, Bruce, we hope you're watching down on this season with a lot of pride and proudness to do with your fellow drivers. And likewise, these drivers, Trev, are probably wearing the same badge with pride over the course of this season. It's something that would mean so much to everybody involved with Ruse and the league, past and present, you know. So it's great to know that you might be gone from this earth, but you're still represented in such a great fashion. And
you always like to give Bruce a shout out. Absolute a legend, of course, in the RaceOnOz sim racing world, and we won't forget about you anytime soon. But Captain Risky here, we're surely going to be approaching the pit window, and Captain Risky now very close to Groover. Is there an opportunity here for Captain Risky, the insurance specialist? He likes to get a bit mad and a bit crazy at times, but is there an opportunity for him to potentially make a move here on Groover before the end of the lap?
Ooh, I think it's one of those situations. Suzuka is one of them tough ones. I think you know, where the gap's relatively close, as you mentioned, Trev, but Suzuka's notorious for keeping the gaps close for longer periods of time than, say, other tracks like Imola, Bathurst, things like that. So it might be one of those ones. It might be a few more laps, but I'm definitely guaranteeing that this is going to be a battle that we're going to have to keep watch.
As a Viper, looks like he's jumped up a position there, Prince, ahead of Jimmy after his incident a couple of laps ago. And you can see there, Distinct Andrew, a 57.985. That is quick. RaceOnOz and Noodles still doing battle as they come through to complete another lap, almost at half race distance. And that is Distinct Andrew coming through. He's in third place, Prince. He's past speedy tyres here.
Yeah, we were talking about that a little while ago, weren't we, Trevor? I was kind of saying we're going to probably see him in the podium by the end of this race. So what has he got? 3 seconds, 3.3 seconds, I think, the P1. But we do have to say, Noodles, though, he has clawed that gap down to Ranger Oz. It's only a few tenths now. It's not almost a second, Trev. It's about 2-3 tenths. So absolutely nothing in it. And likewise to Speedy Tires, is right on the back of Andrew.
Let's have a look at that beautiful Special K there. Not the breakfast cereal, but the blue K in the corner mirror of that car. Looking very nice indeed. And so are his championship chances, as half the race distance, half the race gone, half the race gone. Well, you know what the guys say. Oh, and Noodles! My goodness me. I'll wait for the delay on your end, Prince, but he looked like he just outbraked himself there at the second of the two Degner curves and almost went right up Ranger Oz's Ginger there and almost having an incident.
Yeah, so from what I could see, kind of just dipped a tire into the grass and the sand. We saw a little bit of it getting kicked up. So unfortunately for Noodles, he lost himself 3 tenths, but 3 tenths is better than what it could have been.
And you can see there, he just has to finish 9th or higher to take the championship. And we know that Sidorg took, I wouldn't say took the championship off this man. I guess he took it off of everyone last season, but we're missing a couple tonight, of course. Sidorg is one of them. Mint Matt, one of my my second favourite driver after Sidorg on GT7, and Noodles is absolutely flying. And you can see the Japanese grass clippings there, just getting out of the way for him. And it's like one of those Chuck Norris shorts, isn't it, Prince? Chuck Norris, don't you worry about that. We know he's out there watching as well. But the clouds are starting to gather. Could we see it's getting very dark and very murky out there in the Suzuka Prefecture? Could we see a twist in the tail? Could there be a potential for some rain in this race as we see Captain Risky the first to make a stop?
Yeah, so it's interesting. We're, like you said, Trev, we're starting to see these stops coming in. So Captain Risky came in with 15 litres remaining. So it looks like he's doing an early stop as we get a great view of his pit crew in action.
Here we go, Captain Risky into the pits then. Off come the old tyres, on go the new ones. How many litres of fuel are we going to see for this man? With 10 laps left in the race, 50, 60... It's like me at the petrol station filling up the Honda Jazz. Doesn't want to be too expensive. 90 litres. I'd hate to think what that'd cost here in Benalla. As the rain begins to fall, there is going to be a twist in the tail. There is going to be a twist as Viper. And these guys have got really nothing to lose, do they, Prince? Coming in, do they change for wet tyres or do they wait and see what this weather's going to do here? And you can see the rain, it's absolutely pissing at the moment. That is the technical term from the Bureau of Meteorology, as Noodles is going to make a move. I think we've got an exciting 10 laps coming up here, Chuck Norris.
Yeah, this is going to get quite tense here. I'm getting a little bit worried. Oh, Noodles down the inside there. Great move. So I wouldn't be surprised if
look at them.
Noodles... Oh my God.
They are struggling here, Prince, as it is literally gone from a dry track to absolutely pissing down rain in just a few corners. Now, can they make it through the 130R and get into the pits here without going off the circuit?
Yeah, fingers crossed. So, Trev, I just have been thinking ever since the rain came down, I know these guys are likely coming in now. Was it Speedy Tires who came in just before the rain dropped? So did he get onto inters, or is he going to have to come back in because he took a set of drives? Let's have a look here. The pit crew coming out for Ranger Oz. Noodles took the lead amidst all of the drama here as the conditions, it happens, doesn't it, here in Japan, Prince? It can be dry 1 minute and then absolutely raining the next. And that beautiful pit stop there for Noodles. He's in the pits, so is Ranger Oz. Distinct Andrew, Diswood also, they're all coming in, Prince. And Banana Josh there continuing on, struggling there. And intermediate tyres for Distinct Andrew. He's on the intermediates. Are the rest of them on intermediates? I think Diswood on intermediates as well. I think they're all going to be switching to the inters here, Prince. Yeah, definitely. So I see Banana Josh has got mediums on, so a little bit concerned about that. I'm wondering whether, actually, was it Banana Josh who came in early? Yeah, actually, Trev, I think Banana Josh might have come in too early, done his pit stop, took his fuel. Well, there was 100% a driver that came in took tyres, but I got a feeling they might have taken the wrong set and they might have to come back in. So that's all gone a little bit tits up, Trev.
And tits up is the perfect description for it, because look at this battle. First, second, and third,
Oh, look at
all
this.
battling it out, and these are treacherous conditions. Was that a little bit of a nudge from Noodles
Oh
to
my
Ranger
God.
Oz, and now he's going to pass? Is this a passing opportunity? I haven't seen a lot of moves. He might lose out 2 places here, Ranger Oz, because Noodles has gone past, and now Distinct Andrew is going up ahead of him as well, and he's lost out big time in the space of 2 corners. He's lost 2 positions and gone from first to third.
Yeah, this is tense. These conditions have literally gone from nice clear skies 2 minutes, 3 minutes ago to absolutely bucketing down in just a blink of an eye. So not only have these guys got to adapt their whole driving style, their braking, how they're throttling out of corners, how they're turning, there's so much to think about in such a short amount of time, Trev. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to go. But Distinct Andrew, has he dropped back down a little bit?
I was
Trev?
about to say, he's dropped behind Diswood, so he must have had a moment at the spoon curve or something, because he was right amongst that top 3 battle, wasn't he, Prince? And now he's down to 4th.
It might have just jumped onto a curb. So curbs around here are notoriously slippery when they're wet, and especially these conditions, you likely don't really want to be touching them. So they are taking all of the curb in the chicane, which you can do at such a low speed. But, you know, these faster speed corners, I think maybe touching the curb was enough. Or Speedy Tires getting a little bit sideways there coming out of the last corner. So it just goes to show these conditions are very, very challenging right now.
And lap 14 out of 22, wherever you're watching. Speedy Tires, thank goodness they've got a runoff area there in turns 1 and 2, because back in the day, Prince, many, many moons ago, they did not have any runoff. They certainly didn't have the concrete runoff area there back in the day. And, of course, Nigel Mansell, I think it was, in the 91 title decider with Ayrton Senna, went off there and into the gravel, and it finished off his race and championship as Groover now in 6th. He is he's sort of in the middle of what do we like to call it, no man's land here, Prince. He's 8 seconds off Speedy and 12 seconds ahead of Captain Risky, so he's well and truly on his own there in P6.
Yeah, it might be, you know, unfortunately, such a large gap is unfortunate because you can't utilize the toe like the drivers in front and behind, but this clear air might be what he needs. So, you know, like we've seen, Trev, sometimes things, so to speak, go tits up in a matter of seconds. Not only the weather, but people are making mistakes where you wouldn't say normally expect it. So I feel like these next few laps, as this dry line starts to form, it's going to be anyone's game. We see Viper going down the inside of Captain Risky.
Ooh, Viper. There was a little bit of argy-bargy heading up to the hairpin there, Prince, and then Captain Risky returned the favour. But Viper up to 7th now. These conditions going to continue. I think it looks like it's drying out, Prince. Was it just a bit of a random weather cell or something coming through here? Oh, and potentially through the spoon curves. Some more contact there. Banana Josh, that's going to keep him interested down there in 9th. And Jimmy's payload started in 10th, Prince, still in 10th. And he's not really spreading his payload around Suzuka at all here this afternoon, which is unfortunate for him.
Yeah, unfortunately he's not spreading his payload. I did have another joke for what he might be spreading, but we won't go there. But, you know, we did see partway through this season though, Trev, a lot of people were trying to steal Jimmy's payload. So it's kind of unfortunate to see him down here, but it's great to see him still having a good crack here.
Certainly is, and he's got 9 other guys ahead of him here at the moment, and that looked like, not Banana Josh there, that looked like Captain Risky. The track looks like it's drying out here, Prince. You can see down the main straight through turn 1, it looks like the spray is not as significant there in the opening part of the lap, and you can see visually on your screen that dry line starting to emerge. With 7 laps to go, could we see drivers coming into the pits potentially again for dry tyres? Or can they, we see it a lot in motorsport, don't we, where they just try and change up the racing line, try and keep those tyres wet, because as soon as the track dries out, we see it a lot in Formula One, those intermediates just burn up so quickly, don't they, without the moisture?
Yeah, so we're going to see a lot of drivers trying to chase the wet parts of the track, but unfortunately, as you can see, Trev, there is not really a lot of wet part of the track left, so the curbs are still going to be very, very slippery, but I got to feel it's going to be a hard one to say because, I don't know, I feel like towards the end of this race, maybe in 2 laps, 3 laps time, it might almost be quicker to be on dries, but then again, like, it's a tough one, isn't it? You know, there's still quite a bit of moisture and it's a gamble to come in again, you know? So looking forward to seeing what might happen. We've still got a lot of laps left or a handful of laps left. So it's anyone's guess as to what's going to happen.
Certainly is. And the biggest risk in life is to not take the shot that you will not miss, but if you can piece that together, Prince, it's a bit of an IKEA sentence there, that one. All the pieces are there, but it looks like you've got to put them together as we see the drivers coming in. They're all coming in again, Chuck Norris. The sun begins to shine here at Suzuka Prefecture.
Yeah, so the sun just came, or the rain came and said konnichiwa, and now it's saying goodbye. So these drivers opting to take dries. So we do see Noodles, Andrew, and Diswood opting to not come into pit lane, but we've got everybody else opting to come in. So, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to play out, Trev.
Crazy Japanese weather show is what we're seeing here at Suzuka Prefecture, because the rain popped its head out and said, "Konnichiwa, going to spray you." And Stay Roz, a big hello to you, Stay Roz. I know you're following, so no need to click that follow button, but please stick around because we've had rain, we've had sun, and we've had everything in between. But Noodles leads this race. It's just heating up, isn't it, Prince? With 6 laps to go, this man needs to finish 9th or better. I think he's going to do that, barring any real sort of disaster there. But a 1:57.985 is the quickest lap held by Distinct Andrew. I was about to say we're not going to see that again, but who knows, Prince, with the track the way it's drying up. And that rain said konnichiwa, and then it came out and pissed down for a little bit, and then it said sayonara, o genki desu ka? And then it left. And I'm not going to talk like a Japanese person again, because this race is crazy for the weather, isn't it, Prince, if nothing else?
Oh, it was not something I was expecting. We were watching the clouds slowly build up throughout qualifying, and even during the race, they were building up quite a bit. So it's one of those interesting ones. I don't think I was expecting it to turn on its head that much, that quickly, and just as quick as it came, it's gone.
Oh, Noodles is coming in, so is Distinct Andrew. These pit crews have been kept busy here. You can see how aggressively they're coming out there. The pit crew for Noodles may want some better conditions or a pay rise or something from that team. But there we go, Kid Byers logo ever present on the side of that car. As he comes out now, they back onto the soft tyres, Prince. Yeah. Here for the final 5 laps.
Yeah, so this is interesting. So Distinct Andrew has got a little bit of a gap
Diswood!
now.
Sorry to cut across you there, Prince, but Diswood, and we can see he might have put the soft tyres on, but the pit lane, of course, is still moister than an oyster, Prince, and he's made a mistake coming out of the pit lane.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate one. So we did see some of the other drivers as they were coming out of pit lane had a few hairy moments as well. So unfortunate for Diswood. It looks like he can fortunately continue, but he does have a little bit of rear damage, so hopefully it's not affecting his aero too much.
And I don't think it's going to affect him too much there, Prince. Despite casually spinning, he's got a little bit of time there. Back to speedy tyres, and then it's Groover still in 6th. I was saying that he was all on his own there and he had no one there beside him, but he's only 1.8 off of speedy tyres. And then you can see the dry line emerging. Captain Risky, the insurance specialist, down there in 7th. Viper is off the track, Prince, and almost into the wall, but he just manages to keep it out of the barrier, and he gets back all pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, I hate to say it, Trev, but we were talking about that one a while ago too, where you can make a slight mistake at the Degner, and if you're not lucky, you might find yourself in that fence from the grass and the gravel trap. So, fortunately for Viper, he managed to just pull it up in time and rejoin the track. So, no damage for Viper, which is good to see, and he retains PA.
He kept it out of the barriers at the Degner curves, and now it is so critical with 5 laps remaining in this race as he has a moment again, I think, but he's off again. Try and just keep the car running, roll it. It is downhill down there, so let gravity do all of the work. He just looks to be struggling to stay on that dry line, Prince, and as soon as you dip a wheel back onto the moist part of the circuit, it's going to be deadly consequences there, as he's gone off twice in the matter of 4 or 5 corners here.
Yeah, these curbs are very treacherous, so the best bet would be to stay off of them. You'd think after the first few occasions you would have learned that small mistake. So hopefully from here on, Viper can remain on the blackstone.
And you can see Noodles there in front. That gap, 3 seconds, but it is closing rapidly, because I don't think he's quite home yet, Prince. This is going to be set up for a blockbuster grandstand Netflix finish. More drama than Netflix coming up here, ladies and gentlemen. Do not go anywhere. We've got 4 laps left in this race, and 3.4 is the gap. Is that going to stay steady? Back to Distinct Andrew. You can see they're both in the same picture, Chuck Prince Norris, and this could be right down to the wire here with 4 laps left.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this. So just a recap for anybody that might just be tuning in. Welcome. Hello to you. If you haven't, please be sure to follow. Distinct Andrew did qualify P1, didn't he, Trev? Unfortunately made a mistake on lap 1, turn 1, fell all the way to the back of the grid, and ever since then, he's been clawing his way back. He's been doing a mighty fine job of it. So I'm looking forward to seeing whether Distinct Andrew might take a podium away, but Mr. Noodles, he looks like he might be home free. He's only got 3 more laps to go as he gets to the end of this one. And
like Damon Hill back at Suzuka in 1996, he needed 10 points that day, and you can see needs to finish 9th or above here, does Noodles. And will we have a lump in our throat at the end of this race? He comes across the line, lap 19. 3.2 is the gap. I'm like a proud father looking at that livery on that car, Prince, because as soon as you get your livery, your logo, or whatever you want to call it, into the sim racing livery AI world, custom livery world, it is a massive achievement, and I'm sitting here proud as punch that our logo, because we're a family at KRL, and you really, and that sounded like tyres, that sound there. I thought he might have had a moment there, Prince, but it looks like he's got it all together, and he's going to be under pressure, but not a bad buffer to have, is it? 3 seconds there or thereabouts with roughly 3 laps to go.
Yeah, so this is going to be a good buffer. So like you've been talking, Trev, Noodles just needs to finish P9, but a great finish to that would be taking a win. So there's still going to be one more round to go. This is the penultimate round, so still one more round to go, but taking a win to secure your championship of season 51 here with Ruse, it's going to be a great accomplishment, and I'm looking forward to seeing Noodles take the checkered flag.
And the N24 livery made by Viper on that car, so we can thank Viper for the exposure there for the KRL logo on the side. And of course, being Gran Turismo 7, Prince, I should be able to jump into the community liveries and be able to download that livery as well for my version of that car. But 3.2 is the gap. I think he's got it. I think he's got it in hand here, doesn't he, Prince? Distinct Andrew in second. The track drying up very quickly. It's almost dry right throughout the circuit, all the way around here. And 12 seconds back to Ranger Oz, who's still under pressure from Diswood in fourth, Prince. And then it's Speedy Tyres right up behind him. So potentially third place, the final podium spot, is up for grabs still here in the remaining few laps.
Yeah, it is getting quite tense here. So we've got P3 through to P5, all right close together. Speedy Tires, though, is in a great position to do ascend into T1, which, not gonna lie, Trev, I kind of hope we see it.
Let's have a look here. He pulls out from behind Diswood. Is he going to go? Diswood sticks on the inside. As OE Drex says, well, hello there. Hello to you, OE Drex, and please follow if you haven't already. We'll put your name up in the bright lights of the Kid Buyers Twitch channel. But this battle is so close. He didn't send it into turn 1, Prince, but I reckon it's going to come very soon.
Yeah, I think it is going to definitely be coming very soon. So we did see the outside line, unfortunately, is just not the way to go. So he tried to do a little bit of a cutback, didn't quite work, but Diswood, though, putting up the fight of his life to try and retain P4 here.
It's 4th and 5th Ranger. I think all of this is helping Ranger Oz here, Prince. Up there in 3rd. He's been right up the top of proceedings at the start of this race. Fell back somewhat later in the race. Diswood and Speedy Tires, and even though these two are battling, they still look to be catching, at least from what I'm seeing, they still look to be catching Ranger in 3rd.
Yeah, which is quite an interesting one. So Ranger must have made some slight mistakes there. So even though these guys are battling it out, Ranger just can't maintain that gap for long enough. But he's only got 2 more laps, 1 more lap at the end of this one, and he'll take a P3. So hold on, Ranger, you got this.
Look at Diswood and Speedy Tires, and Lewis has jumped in the chat. He says, hey, pretty woman. Oh, side by side through the 130R. That is really going to absolutely require a new pair of Speedos, because that is heart in the mouth stuff. And Stayroz says, is that a Subaru BRZ, or what cars are they? And I can certainly tell you that we are racing the BRZ. English teacher wouldn't be happy with that. GT300 2021 cars. And Andrew losing on GT7, says Lewis. WTF. And it looks like it's going to be Noodles with the win, but we're still on the penultimate lap, Lewis, and there could be time for Distinct Andrew yet. We'll get back to that battle. The gap less than 3 seconds, but I reckon Noodles is going to get this race win and win the championship in style here in the Japan. Oh, Ichi. He only needed to finish in the top 9, and he's going to do it in style here, Prince, on the penultimate lap.
Yeah, it's going to be a great accomplishment for Noodles, and you know, it's going to be a massive congratulations to him for taking out not only Division 1 Season 51, but it's going to be an impressive finish for him. It's going to be a win to secure that result. But Trev, he's got 1 more lap to do. It's got 1 more lap, so let's not commentators curse this one.
It's not over. Do not start the car yet, and if we can say, the fat lady will not be singing just yet, because stranger things have happened, Prince, and they usually happened in the hills of Adelaide. But Speedy Tires is in 4th. Diswood is in 5th. That battle seems to have calmed its farm, and just for the time being, we'll keep an eye on that. What's happening further down the order? In 6th place, Groover. 7th, Captain Risky. 8th is Badalda Josh, and 9th is Viper, and Jimmy is offloading his payload. And as Drex says, stop calling him Prince. He has a few better nicknames. And Lewis saying, is there any Kid Buyers cam? Trust me, had a big day yesterday. You don't want to be seeing any of that on camera. But this is the final lap. Lewis, I can assure you the Kid Buyers cam will be back when I'm wearing pants. But lap 22 of this race, which means, Prince, that it is the last lap of this race. The gap is 2.5 seconds. I reckon Distinct Andrew is going to keep him honest all the way to the line here. But he's only got half a lap between him and the checkered flag and taking the championship in RaceOnOz GT7 Division 1 Season 51 of this series. It's going to mean an awful lot to him here tonight.
Yeah, it definitely is. You know, we're going to have to think of a different nickname other than 2-Minute Noodles after this one. I think we might have to upgrade him to some McGoreng Noodles or something, Trev, because I think he deserves a little bit of a promotion, eh?
He certainly does. He'll be putting all of those sachets in to his ramen tonight. Even that funny, strange one, Prince, that's kind of half soy sauce and half sort of oil or whatever it is. You know that one that you don't put in, except when you...
that one's a weird one, isn't it?
You know that weird sort of one at the end when you're getting your noodles prepared and you put it in sort of when you're drunk, you know, you just sort of snip the top off of it and it ends up in there. We're talking about noodles here, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about this man as he approaches the 130 hour for the final time to take the checkered flag and the championship. And the man who was cruelly denied his maiden title last season by Sidorg, despite winning 3 out of the final 4 races, is not going to be cruelly denied this time around. He comes out of the final corner to win here at Suzuka and win the championship for season 51 for RaceOnOz Division 1 Gran Turismo 7. He wins the race and the championship. Distinct Andrew threw everything at him, but he couldn't quite get it done in the end. And Ranger Oz now out of the final corner. This battle continues. Ranger Oz finishes 3rd, Speedy in 5th in the end, so Ranger in 4th. What's happening there? The timing screen's going... It's got Diswood in P1, but that is very odd indeed. I'm sure that'll correct itself. But what a race we have seen. Still 1 round to go next week. And stay Roz there. We do not understand this language you speak. Please speak English. And Drex is slurping up the noodles.
I don't, yeah.
You know what's, you know.
For like legal reasons, I don't, yeah. Noodles.
Well, you know.
Noodles,
Well,
yeah.
you know. You know what, you know what, slapping is. Why did I do that?
Oh shit. Oh no.
Don't clip that. Don't clip
sorry.
that. As Jesus. So pushing on there, and you know, there it's out there now in the land of Twitch. But victory for D Wood. And he's Woody there, as he's known to his friends. Next Level Racing, big sponsor of his too. I've got a Next Level Racing mat and chair. So we will continue. And well done to Noodles. Oh, I'm losing the plot here.
Great.
As no, we don't want to go spectator mode. It was. We'll have a look at the results very, very shortly. I have no idea what is going on here. Because
the funniest thing, Trev.
These timing screens have gone up the shizer, I think. But Diswood, it's got him in P1. Banana Josh in 2nd. Noodles in 3rd. It's got 1 minute penalties for every person after from 3rd down, which is odd. Captain Risky there in 8th across the page. Viper in 9th. Jimmy Payload in 10th as we take a breath. But what a penultimate round of the season we have seen. And if anyone's going to be slurping noodles on here tonight, it's going to be that man Noodles, because he dominated the race here this evening. And you've got to say, he come out, he only needed to finish 9th or above, Prince, but he got the job done, and he did it in the best possible style. And they're on an ad break at the moment, everybody out there in Twitch land, but still a fantastic performance here tonight from Noodles. He got the job done and did what he needed to do.
Yeah, 100%, Trev. It was a fantastic drive by Noodles from start to finish. He kept the pressure on everybody that was in front of him over the course of those opening laps, and eventually managed to get his move done. And once he got his move done, that was when the rain came in quite heavy, and they all filed single file in a pit lane, grabbed the inters, but it wasn't over there, Trev. Just as quick as that weather came in, it was gone. So, you know, it was quite the race, honestly. A great round tonight. Suzuka's always one for a good show.
And you can see there the drivers are leaving the room. As Drex there, he's back from his ad break. If he was subscribed, Prince. I don't think he would see that. But anyway, no pressure. But Drex, he says, I am never going to let you forget you made that joke. And yeah, I don't think I'll be eating. Oh no, it's been. What did I say, Drex? What did I say, Prince? I said, do not clip that. You know what noodles like. It was meant to be slurping that ramen, but it could have been confused with a few other things. But only people with dirty minds think like that, Prince. And
I went there instantly.
And it's great to know that the community is out there. They're out there, and they're not afraid to clip something when we slip up. But wow, that has been a wrap of Suzuka here at the Suzuka circuit tonight. And like we said in the call, after being cruelly denied his maiden title by Sidorg last season, season 51 has been very much Noodles' championship. He's been consistent right throughout, Prince. A little bit more consistent than we have, as he puts up a message there in the lobby. Thanks for the race. Congratulations. Well done. And I think that sums it up absolutely perfectly here for our champion-elect here tonight.
Yeah, 100%. You know, I'm looking forward to next week, Trev, as well. So Noodles, he's got no pressure next week for the season final, might I add, of season 51 here with Rouge. So it's going to be a good one. If you're not going to be there, you better be there. You know, cancel all your plans. You're going to be there.
And be there or be square. It is very much too late to take back my noodle slurping impersonation there, for want of a better word. But let's look ahead as we get on a plane from Japan and have a guess where we're going next week, Prince. One of your favourites and one of everybody's favourites, the Mount Panorama Circuit Endurance Round, Retro Round. Could we see a few retro liveries? 46 laps there at Mount Panorama on the 17th of September, round 7, the 7th and final round of the championship. We should be on air from 8 p.m. Eastern for qualifying, and then 46 laps around there. We get to see airplanes next week, says Drex. But thank you for joining us, everybody. Drex in the chat. Lewis was in there as well, wasn't he? Stay Rolls, Banana Josh, Wilco taking the train to Athens. And let's hope you do not get sold into the slave trade over there. And we hope he returns safe and well. And we hope it doesn't end up like one of those Liam Neeson movies, Taken. Remember those Taken movies? And by the third one, they didn't have anyone left to kidnap, did they, Prince? I think they might have taken the dog in the last one. But there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We are almost out of time. That's been a wrap of round 6 of this championship tonight here at Suzuka, which saw our man Noodles winning the race tonight and taking the championship in the best possible fashion. But that's all we've got time for, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next week on the 17th of September from 8 p.m. Eastern Time for the final round of the championship from Mount Panorama Retro Round. 46 laps. We're looking forward to it. Be kind to one another. Stay passionate, as they say. We'll see you then. Bye for now.